Welcome, Internet Nomad. Happy Halloween as I play my first horror game ever, Until Dawn. Quick note, I played the PS4 version and haven't seen any improvements of the PC port. I already played this story and probably won't buy the PC port anytime soon. Until Dawn plays similarly to Heavy Rain. Something cool they do with the gyro in the controller is holding still. The game gives you basic tutorials through gameplay. In the first section of the game, it explains QuickTime events in safe environments. Missing a prompt later in the game could lead to death. Now, it may be the first horror game I ever beaten. I did play Resident Evil on the PlayStation 1. That game was too hard for me. I usually stay away from horror games because I only knew of survival horror. I'm not a huge fan of horror movies, but I watch a few every Halloween. If you've been watching my videos this year, you know I like narrative-focused games. On PlayStation Plus, I got Until Dawn for free. I sat on Until Dawn for a year or so. I began looking for horror games that would fit my channel. I think I found an article online about games like Life is Strange, and they suggested this game. I don't know what made me curious to play it. I must have found out that it played like narrative games I loved. This ended up being so great, I bought the catalog of Supermassive Games shortly after beating this game. Now, I fell in love with the studio Supermassive Games. The first game I saw from this studio was The Quarry, but that game was expensive. Until Dawn was in the Plus collection, so I played it first. The game begins with a short intro. Two women are lost during a mountain retreat. I won't spoil what they're running from. A year later, the same group of friends meet in the mountain lodge. There's 8 playable characters. Playing well allows each of the 8 characters to survive. I thought that 8 players were too many, but the relationships between them make it easier to keep track of them all. The story is great. There's the main story that you play through, then there's a secondary story told through clues and notes. Putting together the backstory is so satisfying. Another collectible in the game are these Odoms that show what would happen in the future. I found only a few of them. They are little hints for possibilities that the story could go. This game has the butterfly effect system, where your choices change the story. These changes are more substantial than Life is Strange Consequences system. My favorite character is Mike. I won't go into details because it would involve spoilers. I'm going to go into spoilers now. Okay, spoilers. The game starts with a prank gone wrong. Hannah is humiliated and runs out of the lodge. Beth follows, and the two fall off a cliff after seeing a man holding a flamethrower. Josh invites everyone back a year after their disappearance. Between sections, there are these therapy sessions. These sections remind me of the Silent Hill Shattered Memories game, a game I watched Nitro Rad review. The game continues with the classic horror movie trope where Mike and Jessica try to hook up in a private cabin. Jessica gets abducted by an unknown figure. Someone else is terrorizing the other guests. The masked figure in the main cabin puts them through tests. Chris has to pick who to cut in half with a saw blade, Josh or Ashley. I picked to save Ashley. During the therapy sessions, it is revealed the patient is the masked man. The therapy sections ask you questions, and the therapist mentions how your choices so far align with the tests. I love the psychology of horror in this game. These mini sections happen between chapters and make the story better. Once the masked man is revealed as the patient, it changes the meaning behind the tests. After that test, Chris and Ashley are given a gun and asked to shoot one of them before blades kill them both. I decided to have Chris kill himself. The gun ends up being fake, and Josh is revealed as the masked man. This was a cruel prank to make his friends feel the same way his twin sisters felt after their prank. Mike blames Josh for Jessica's disappearance. He ties him in the shed. The stranger who wields a flamethrower reveals that Jessica was taken by a Wendigo, a feral being created from humans resorting to cannibalism. This is where the clues tell the story of the cave-in, where the people survived by eating the others. They became Wendigos that haunt the mountain. Chris goes to save Josh with the stranger, In my playthrough, the stranger died but Chris survived. Emily reveals she was bitten by a Wendigo. Mike has to choose to kill her or let her live. I decided to allow her to live. This ends up being the correct choice as the stranger's files reveal Wendigos aren't transferred through bites. Mike goes into the sanatorium. One decision not to kill the dog in the sanatorium actually helps you later in the night. Josh dies if you don't collect enough clues to solve the story. Hannah became a Wendigo from Ian and Beth. I didn't gather enough clues and Josh died. I ended the game with 3 or 4 characters surviving. The game ends with interviews of the surviving characters. They try to explain to the police what happened. After beating the game, I finally found a series I could talk about for Halloweens to come. Next year, I might play The Quarry and write a review. Until Dawn's story is so cool. I didn't know about Wendigos until now. Apparently it's a monster in North American tribes. There are a few variations, one being a monster that feeds on humans, and the other being a spirit that causes people to become cannibals. This is my own game tale on Until Dawn.